Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jose Avalos. I'm an associate level designer community at Avalanche Software, and in this tutorial we will see how to set up an economy in your level, because one of the biggest additions we have done to the toy box for this Infinity 2.0 is to set up your own economy with loot and so on. So you could have a store so that you can buy toys that you get money by killing enemies. Or another example would be that you have a big chasm and you need to cross it, but the only way of crossing it is by buying toys that are available through a store, and the currency for that is not by using sparks but using resources throughout the level itself. So let's get going. We need the several toys in order to get this thing working. The first one of them, they're all located under Creativi-toys by opening the ribbon. This is the first one. It's the money manager. Its purpose is to determine what kind of currency we're going to be using in this level and how much money you're going to have when it is activated. So we're going to place one of these in the level. The second one is the loot drop manager. Basically, it's going to say what enemies are going to drop what kind of items. Not just money, but it can be health capsules, packs, or even other enemies. Oh, my bad. So we're going to place the loot drop manager. The third toy that we're going to be using is the Storefront. This is where you buy the different toys. So Storefront, it's going to be. Fourth toy is the inventory manager. The inventory manager basically determines what toys you're going to have in the ribbon, basically where I'm selecting the toys right now, when it becomes active. And finally, we need the packs and tools manager, as you can see with a little pickaxe icon, that does the same thing as the inventory manager, but for the different packs that are available throughout the level, like the magic one, the boost packs from Toy Story, lightsabers, and so on. So we have these 5 toys, but now we need to start configuring them. So sorry, the autosave can be slow in here. So with Donald, we open up the magic one, we select the toy, and we try to configure it. As you can see, the gears icon, in this case by pressing square. The important thing we need to do is the properties. First is the money type. Money type is what kind of currency you're going to be using in your level. Hexagon tokens, power particles, flowers, balloons. It doesn't matter, it's only a matter of personal preference, but since we're talking about money and all that stuff, I'm going to be using gold coins. And the starting amount is how much money you're going to be having when this toy becomes active. So I want to give Donald a lot of money so he can feel a little bit like Scrooge McDuck, and we'll give it 500. So that's really it, all we need to do for the money manager. It can be any number you wish. It can be between 0 and 1000, but for now let's stick to 500. Now, the most complex toy of all of these is the loot drop manager, because if you see the properties, it's not really much. Auto collect, which is basically when the enemies die, do you want to collect the items automatically or do you need to pick them up yourself? For now, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm gonna leave it off. More interesting is the loot pools that we can see we have 5. Now, what is a loot pool? If you have played other RPGs, like say Kingdom Hearts, you will see that some kinds of enemies, for example weak enemies, drop say 1 gold with a certain probability, and very rarely they will drop something good, whereas powerful enemies are guaranteed to drop, great items. This is what the loot pools are. We're saying if we defeat this enemy, what items we will get and what probability we will. So you can see that if we select loot pool 1, we have enemies and loot. So enemies we're going to add, and the first one we're going to add, just for purposes of this tutorial, is going to be the small frost giant from the Avengers playset. So we place him in here, and we're saying this enemy, what will it drop? Right now it's set up to drop nothing. So we will select this toy, which is the economy, which is whatever currency we're going to be using, in this case the gold coins, and also, let's say just for fun, health capsules from so they can recover a bit of life. Now, if we select this, it says set weight. What the heck is set weight? Basically, it means the probability of that item being dropped, because the enemy will only drop one item. It's not gonna drop both. So we can see that for the economy, the weight is 100 and the weight is 100. So they have the same probability of them dropping. If we want the frost giant to have a bigger chance of dropping money than health, we need to change the weights so the weight of the economy is greater than the weight of the health capsule. The greater the weight, the bigger probability it has compared to the other toys. So for the health capsule, we're gonna change it to say 50 or 60. 60. And now we press OK to set up the changes, and that's it. This is all that the loot pools are. There are 5 different groups you can have in your level, so if you want, you can, for example, have one of those big frost giants that can drop another item, like a lightsaber. So fun for the whole family. The third toy is the Storefront. Basically, what toys are we gonna be able to buy from the store? And from here it says 2 things: copy items from Inventory Manager and manage items for sale. Copy items from Inventory Manager is exactly what it says, and it is for levels where, for example, you give the player 5 square blocks so they can cross a certain chasm, but it's not enough. So if they want to buy more of them, it's an easy way to do it. It's an easy way of doing it by copying items from the Inventory Manager to the Storefront. Or manage items for sale, which is the manual way, which is what we're going to be doing now. So add new, and in here to the right we see the menu with the different kinds of toys that there are. So we go between these with, in this case, L1 or R1, and we go to creations, townspeople, and the toys that we're going to be getting is at the most custom shop. So we press X and we see that there's a tick on the right and the item is added on the left. And also, let's say, a basic block, which is a square block. And you will see that next to these toys there is a small number, in this case 10. That is the price that it's going to take buying it from the store. And not just the price of buying an item from the store, but also the price of placing one in the level, just so you're absolutely sure about this. So for example, we will set that the square blocks are 50 coins, and Edna Custom Shops is, say, 100. And that's really all the Storefront is. Now, Inventory Manager. Once it is active, what toys are we going to have active when we, open up the ribbon? In this case, which I just did. So, in this case, I want the player to have, say, the button triggers, enemy generators, and a loot chest. So add new, and it works the same way as the Storefront, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to make adding things up. So let's get this going as soon as possible. Oh wait, there it is. Creativi-toys. We have the loot chest, we have the button triggers, which are somewhere, right here, and enemy generators. And we press circle and we are back. But we can see that these items have a 0. You may have noticed it. So if we, set this active, we're not going to be able to place any of these toys. So we need to change the adjust count. So for the trigger, if we press X, we can say adjust count, and it can be amount infinite, 1 or 1000. Yeah, or 100. It's a really big amount. So let's play infinite for the trigger. So right now you see that it doesn't have a number below it anymore. And same thing for the enemy generator, but that the player is only able to place, say, 1 loot chest. And finally, the Packs and Tools Manager, which does the same thing as the Inventory Manager, but for the packs, which in this case in the PlayStation 3 is by holding all-1, which you can see the Toy Box Blaster, Sword, Carl Fredricksen's cane. So let's say that by default, set Pack and Tools, the only one that the player has by default is the Magic Wand. But let's say that they're also able to use, for example, Buzz Lightyear's jetpack. So we add it in here. And if we choose, and if we browse this, it says like make default. If you press it, you can see that there's a D in there, and whenever we activate the Packs and Tools Manager, that is the item that Donald is going to be equipping. Same thing with the magic one. So right now I just selected the magic one by default. Now we have configured all the 5 toys, the Money Manager, Loot Drop Manager, Storefront, Inventory Manager, Packs and Tools Manager. Now we need to activate all of these. So for that, we will just place a trigger. Yeah, right here. Yeah, and I'll leave a goodie from Infinity 1. And now let's make the necessary connections. The connections is that whenever it's stepped in, we are going to be activating it. So for the Money Manager, activate, deactivate, or reset economy, which is basically give the player back the money that they have when it is reset. So we're going to activate it. Now we're going to need to activate the Loot Drop Manager. Then we need to activate the Storefront as well. So we will do just that. Activate, deactivate, which are self-explanatory. Open shopping menu for host. This is gonna be opening up the level, and only the host of a multiplayer match can open up the store and buy things. An open item management menu, it's basically, hey, do you want to sell items or not? So the only thing important for us is activate. Sometimes the one can be a bit fickle, but never mind. Stepped on any, and we will go. Now we will activate the Inventory Manager. Activate, deactivate, or reset. If the Inventory Manager is active, basically it will reset the toys that you have and the amounts that you specified. But right now we only are going to be activating it. And finally, we need to activate the Packs and Tools Manager. And now we're all set up. Okay, fingers crossed. This is gonna be good. 1, 2, 3, go! Alright, so Donald is equipping the wand right now because that's what we specified in the Packs and Tools Manager as the default item. Right now we also have 500 gold coins, which we determined here with the Money Manager. And let's see what items we have. So we have triggers, we have enemy generators, and we only have 1 loot chest. And we don't have any other categories because those are all the toys that we have so far. And when you say infinite, it's really 10,000 toys, but 10,000 is more than what you'll ever actually need. So right now, let's see if we can kill an enemy and get money. So let's place 1 trigger, and let's place 1 enemy generator right here, and let's make the connection in order to make a small frost giant appear, because that's the enemy we set up here in the loot pool in the Loot Drop Manager. So event on stepped on player, because I don't want this, the frost giant to create another enemy generator, and we will, and the small frost giants are here in Avengers small frost giant. So let's step on it and see what happens. Enemy will show up, it will do its own animation, and let's kill with Donald. Oh, get out of there! Nobody loves you. Okay, so it dropped health capsules, which, even though it has a lower probability, well, it was the case this time. Let's create another enemy. Yeah, Donald is a beast. So you can see that the enemy dropped a gold coin, and if we pick it up, it will increase our currency by 1 unit. So now we have 501 coins. And this is something that you need to take into account in your levels, is that enemies, if they drop money, they will always drop 1 unit of said currency. Unfortunately, we cannot say that these enemies are going to drop 50 gold, these other enemies 100 gold, and so forth, unfortunately. So, and now let's set up, so how do we do it to configure loot chest? So we'll place it around here and open up, sorry, we need to open up the one with Donald, and let's configure the loot that it will have. the way you configure the loot in a loot chest, it works the same way as the loot drop manager, and think of it as one loot pool, but only for this particular chest. So what I really want to do is just economy. And now we open it up by, hitting it. It drops money, and now we have 502. And finally, let's see how to work the store. So let's use the same trigger, eliminate the connection with the enemy generator, and now let's say the event that stepped on any, because we're alone right now. Let's select the storefront and open shopping menu for host. This will open it up. So jump in here, and we can see that on the upper half we have the items that we have at the moment, and below are the items that we can buy. So if we buy Edna's custom shop, the cost is 100, so we go from 502 to 402, and same thing with the square block. It's going from 402 to 352. Now we can place as many of these toys as we want, but we are limited by our funding, because as I said before, the price is not just from buying it, but also from placing one of each in the level. And we will see right now, opening up the ribbon. It takes a little while. And now let's go to buildings. We started with 302. If we place it, 352, 252, 100 less than what we had before we placed the building. Now if we try the same thing with the square block, now it should give us around 200. 202, 50 for placing this block. Another question that usually pops up in here is, say, I need to make a connection. I'm gonna deactivate the inventory manager. Alright, this is a common mistake that happens when you're trying to debug your levels. If you just make the store and you have the economy buying and all that, and you try to buy a toy, it will tell you this action requires an active inventory manager that limits this toy. And so if you want to test your store, you have to make this toy active before you try to open up the store. So well, let's change this connection so it's actually, active. And now we see we can buy or sell different toys. Well, I guess that's all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you can, do really fun stuff with this awesome economy system. And if you have any problems, please let us know in the forums or in the comments of this video. I hope you all really have a good day, and well, take care, and the possibilities are infinite.